It's hard to like talk about your journey as a photographer. Like my personal life and my photography goes more and more in hand, and I feel like that is maybe where I'm heading as a photographer as well, as an artist in general. I like looked up to all these older guys that have been shooting these iconic, legendary shots that kind of not necessarily got me into photography, but let's say made me stay in photography. Those moments and those shots, I felt like was such a big contribution to society and culture and like, let's say this, whatever this is. My first photos was shot on film, but then, you know, I kind of just caught that wave before like everything turned into digital. I definitely had a big switch where I was just mass producing for way too long and I was on overtime. I would say analog photography definitely saved my creativity and my career and my mental health, I would say, to go that far, because I hated everything I ever shot. And the problem with that was that everything that I ever shot was also my whole life, because that was the only thing that I really spent time on. I didn't really have any like social life, you know, to a certain extent, and everything that didn't have anything to do with my career or my craft at the time, I kind of shut away. So me like going into analog photography was something that, you know, made me excited again. And I'm sure like, you know, I'm gonna take so many new turns, like, you know, like the new mediums are going into these mixed thing with 3D design with analog photography that I've been really intrigued by. And these like crossovers where the analog and the digital meets. I think like that is really interesting with me because I am like right in the cusp of like those two eras. Like I grew up with the analog, but went into the digital, you know, and then I found back to the analog, which I'm like old enough to, let's say that I was a part of the analog era, and then young enough to say that I was a part of the digital era. And that's kind of where my work meets now, I feel like, and being more attached with yourself to be able to stick with something that you feel like feels right. I was really hesitant to do that for a long time. It was just like, this is cool, but now I've been doing that for too long, or like other people are starting doing it, so I'm gonna stop doing it and doing something else. And that kept me on the toes. And I like, either it's like categories, you know, shooting fashion, shooting action sports, weddings, lifestyle, shooting landscape. I feel like I shot every single thing in some scale or another. I take pride in like shooting high scale in every category, master something like a pro and then break it down like an artist or something, you know, the Picasso saying. And I really believe in that. So I feel like I've gone like the 8 miles now that I'm like can bring it down to mile 1 and then feel like I have the 7 other miles in the depth of it. And that's really what it is, like building layers. And film photography for me like build those layers automatically. Like it's what camera you choose to, you know, shoot on, it's what lens, it's what film stock, it's what development, it's what scanning, or what piece of paper in the darkroom you print on, and then even what scanner you scan the print on, and then like it just adds layers. And I think like that intrigued me a lot because I'm not a perfectionist at all. I just don't really care about like things being perfect. Like, I mean, perfect is very, you know, up to the individual. It's like shooting a portrait, thinking too much about the framing. And for some people, that is maybe super fun. In some sense or some situation, that could be the case for me to a certain extent. But if you start to think about the details too much or get a hang up on certain things, then maybe the core or like the base of the photo is not good enough. I mean, coming from action sports, that's just automatically how it goes, you know, because like we were used to showing up to somewhere and then you see whatever is in front of you And then you have this collaborative process of figuring out what tricks they're gonna do and how they perform that trick, and then how you're gonna shoot that in the best manner with the element, with the skater or snowboarder or whoever, and with the colors. And there's like so many things that plays into part right there and then. And I think I brought that a lot into everything that I shoot. Sometimes it bites me, you know, in the ass type of thing, you know, shooting like commercial stuff that is like glossy and poppy and like all these colors and all these elements of product and stuff that is gonna be like, you know, it's gonna look so good. That's like the main goal of like, it's gonna like look grand and perfect. Then it does kind of, you know, just like a pocket knife in my heart sometimes, but sometimes it's really fun. I love working with people, but it's not my style of like getting a hang up of like having 20 people set and then 5, 6, 7, 8 people, you know, pointing at the screen of like having opinions of stuff. That's not really. I love one light, get me a fucking Ilford HP 400 and like a, you know, any camera. And I feel like I work the best. So I mean, finding out that I think is a huge thing, your ideal production and like where you want to be and how you view things, and not compromising with that too much. I think it took me a long time before like I found that, you know, base. And then once you have that base, everything gets stronger and more specific. I always looked up to people that is like just doing very consistent things in their matter. And that was something, again, I didn't really understand before, because I felt weird doing the same thing for so long, and people have been doing one style or one specific thing for that long, and then there's like, how would they not like switching it up? And it's just like, I get it now. That's how, for them, how this should be. And obviously always reinvent yourself, always finding new ways, but at the end of the day, like, you know, you find your base, you find your truth. And I think like definitely black and white photography for me, it's been a huge base to feel comfortable in, and not too comfortable to not like play with it, because there's so much you can do with it and so many different film stocks. And that's what's so dope with photography. It just never stops. I'm 2 decades in and like just finding stuff that I suck at, and that's super dope. Hopefully I'll continue to find things that I suck at. Having the distance between what is work and what is art, or what is like your personal stuff, that like took me a long time to figure out too. And I feel like analog photography created some kind of, let's say, difference between those. It's more merged now because I want to shoot everything on film. When I started shooting more film, I kind of like used that as like, okay, everything that I shoot on film, I care about a little bit more, and it feels a little different, and all these like various things that created that barrier for me, because I didn't really have it before, and I was wearing myself out on stuff that I didn't really care about too much. And again, film really like forces you to just slow down and actually care about what you shoot, because not only it costs a lot of money, but it also takes a lot of time. I feel like the stuff that I shoot now, I think about a whole different timeline, but that's also because I think about that timeline as life in general. You know, I feel like I can be able to think about life as like a longer thing, so I automatically think about my work that way too. And I feel like my work that I create now have something that will last longer, or, you know, it has something depth that I feel like this deserves to like live longer. And I feel like that is like something really cool, that you have this confidence in what you create. And that is like in a commercial matter, in an art matter, you should feel like your stuff should have a longevity. You know, when I started, like I didn't have social media, so I was very fortunate to be in a time where I could be pure, you know, and I didn't have to like force being pure or like being stripped away from all these like outside things. I looked up to the magazines. I can only imagine starting with something like that now. I mean, I try to start with other things now, and I definitely feel like I'm influenced by social media. So It's a good source of inspiration, but it's also a terrible place for inspiration. Memories has been like a huge thing for me, especially it's like a great power comes great responsibility, and I do feel like photography for me is that, where I can create all these memories and I can portray these people in a moment in their life, and I feel like I can, you know, make them live forever type of thing. It's an amazing medium. You can really make a difference, and I think all the stuff that I shoot now for personal projects or work or whatever it is, having that as a ground, as a why, I think is really important. That's what I like. I kind of like shooting weddings and stuff, because you feel like you contribute to something that will last longer. Like commercial work or whatever, like, you know, maybe hits a billboard or like, you know, a magazine or, you know, whatever else, but like, and then it just kind of dies. But I like memories a lot. And photography and videography is very much that. This whole piece right here, this whole piece, it's a memory, it's a stamp in my life. And I really think that is something hopefully I can value when I get older. But I can't wait to like show this piece to my, you know, grandkids. And I can't wait to find new mediums and new ways of just like making memories. Really funny, because like I do so many mistakes like all the time. I'm shooting with the same cameras all the time, but it's just like it gets so hectic in my brain, and like it gets like when I see something really good, and then I want to shoot it with like this, and then like she did something slightly different, and then suddenly like I need to shoot that on a whole different camera and a whole different film. Because of that like little movement.
Yeah, you went from the large format
and then
16
yeah, and then like I switch cameras, and then sometimes I just like the first frame, I literally forgot to put the fucking pro photo transmitter even on the camera. And it is funny, like this is me 20 years of shooting, and I'm still just doing like this fuck shit, you know? It's funny. But it's like that's the thing, like you do like you fail in such a rapid pace that you just like constantly learn, like while doing it all the time. It's like, oh, like I failed, so I'll kill the next shot. And you can do that in real time, which is like the sickest thing. Finally getting an output for this amazing piece that I've been wanting to do for so long. Ilford presents.